Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the show, where we interview the nation's leading real estate entrepreneurs. It's your host, Stephen Schmidt, and I'm back at it again with my new friend, Joe Rivera. And we're going to be talking about some real estate today, as we tend to generally do, since this is the Real Estate Pros podcast. If you're joining us for the second, third, or 100th time, welcome back. We're so grateful that you take the time to listen to the show. And if you're joining us for the first time, we appreciate that as well. I know this is about to be a regular on your podcast listening schedule, and we're going to bring a ton of value to you guys today. Joe has been in the business for the better portion of the last 8 years, investing in their first property in 2017. He's the short-term rental king. We're going to be talking about all different types, from short-term, long-term, and everything in between. Just before we get started, remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses, which allows them to build the businesses they've always wanted, to allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. With that being said, Joe, welcome to the show today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Man, I'm super excited to talk about today's topic, but before we get started on all that, could you just share a little bit about yourself, how you got started in the biz, and what got you to where you're at today?
Sure. I got started, as you mentioned, in 2017. I was working a 9-to-5 job and was just looking for something else to do and to, long-term growth, to expand my 401k, and got into real estate by buying a fourplex. And then we bought some duplexes after that. And our fourplex turned into a Section 8 house, which we discovered were not Section 8 owners. Sold that in 2019 and went down and got some beach condos right before the pandemic, which turned out to be pretty interesting. And I managed those and fell in love with short-term rentals, and kind of just stuck with that model. We sold those during the height of COVID and bought a few more in different areas of the country, and I managed those. And now we have some long-term rentals here in Texas that we're trying to grow as well.
And you're in the Fort Worth area, right?
Correct.
Awesome. So let me ask you this. What do you like about short-term rentals that differentiates it from some of the other plays in real estate?
What I like about the short-term rental is being able to take essentially just a standard house and making it a home that you can share with anybody, right? Mm-hmm. What we like to do is we like to take a short-term rental or take a house, find a market that we're going after within the bigger market. So we find an avatar and we design based on that and go after that niche within short-term rentals, right? So for instance, we have one down in Fredericksburg, Texas, that we designed for women 35 to 45 years old, girls' getaway trips, because Fredericksburg, Texas is known for girl trips, right?
Oh, really?
Here in Texas and Louisiana and Oklahoma, lot of
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
A lot of female trips are down there. So we designed it for that category and that niche and have done very well, right? So it's fun to take that kind of home, a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and go, okay, we're going to go after this market and then go execute it, right? My wife does the designing, and, we work together to make this house a home and share it with people.
Yeah, that's super interesting that you guys have a very specific avatar too in terms of how you've actually built that out. I think that's something a lot of people miss just in a business sense of not having an ideal person. I think I talk to a lot. Well, I don't think I talk to a lot. I know I talk to a lot of realtors, for example, right?
Sure.
Because we're more on in the investing side of real estate, but as naturally pops up, I talk to a lot of realtors.
Sure.
And, I always ask them the question, who's your ideal candidate? And they say, anyone who wants to buy a house. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'm like, well, my uncle wants to buy a house. And they're like, oh, that's awesome. How would I get in touch with them? And I'm like, well, just to clarify, first off, he's 64 years old and was in jail for 30 years, and he doesn't have any credit. So would that be a good fit? He's looking for something in the $250,000 range. And they go, well, no, he can't buy. And I go, oh, so you're looking for somebody that can actually buy a house too. So let's maybe niche that down even more specifically and find the exact avatar that makes you the most amount of money, is the least amount of stress on you, and let's focus on that from a marketing perspective, right? And that's obviously a fictitious example. My uncle isn't actually like that, but so I guess it's interesting. How did you come about with building a specific theme? Because standing out in the short-term rental space is also something crucial to be able to actually keep your house rented out.
Oh, by all means. So the first ones that we bought, we just did the shotgun approach of we want everybody, right? Much like the realtor example you gave. And so we discovered very fast, we don't want everybody, right? Because when you go with the I want everybody approach, you get everybody, and your short-term rental takes a bigger beating than you really want it to have, right?
Sure.
So after we sold those beach condos, we learned that we really needed to go after a market within a market, right? So on our next short-term rental, we did create an avatar. We got smarter and learned how to do this a little bit better, which we're always learning on how to tweak and twist in the short-term rental business, because it is an ever-growing business. The competition is in some areas really extreme.
So how's the competition in that area, and when you started niching down, how did that start affecting things for you in a positive way?
So in that area, I think we down in Fredericksburg, we stand out a little bit just because we do cater more female focus, right? So that did open up and expanded our occupancy rate above what was happening around us, right? Which was nice. Now the market has shifted down there, so now we have to reevaluate our game plan and our design, if you will, on that market, right? So that's something that we're looking at now to grow, because it is becoming more fierce. You're getting properties that are essentially getting pickleball courts.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I don't think there's one down there, but it's getting to that, keeping up with the Joneses. It's constantly keeping up with the Joneses, which you're never going to win, right? So it helped us. Now we have to evolve because that market is evolving, right? Because now they have luxury hotels that are going in. So now we have to step our game up because the Waldorf is going down, or they're building a Waldorf down there, and they built this 4-star luxury hotel down on Main Street. So, we're going to have to step up our game as well.
Yeah, 100%. Because ultimately, you've got to adapt to an ever-changing landscape, right?
Correct.
So what does long-term vision look like for you in this space? Do you plan to have an army of short-term rental houses, property management, or what does that look like for you long-term?
Yeah, so for long-term, I would love to have a portfolio in different markets, right? So we have one in Fredericksburg, Texas. Then we have another one in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And I would like to grow and be able to have different experiences in different markets and be able to offer a portfolio for our past guests and future guests to kind of pick and choose from, if you will, right? Go, I love the experience here, and I'm planning on going here next, so I'm gonna go. Let me check out their place, right? So the goal is to grow it. The goal is to also grow the co-hosting business, and help other property managers or help other investors, with guest communications, maintenance issues, and revenue management, and growth, make their investment profitable as well.
Yeah, 100%. Love that. What are some of the things that people should consider if they're wanting to get into that same space?
Into short-term rentals, you have to realize it's not a get-quick-rich game anymore. Right? COVID has ended, right? So that gold rush is no longer there. This is a long-term play. There's a lot that goes into it, right? You don't realize how expensive it is to decorate a full house until you have to decorate a full house, right? Like,
sure,
you've spent maybe 10 years decorating your house, right?
Right.
I've got to do, when I do a short-term rental, I've got 10 days. Right. So that cost, that time, it's the first time we did it, we didn't realize what it took. Right. Because you don't think about it over a lifetime. You have accumulated all these items that makes your house your home. Right.
Right.
We're doing it within a 2-week time frame. So that was the biggest shock. And I think that's what most people don't realize is, the average room, how much it costs to decorate the average room.
Can you break some of that down and tell us a little bit more in depth on that?
Sure. So like on average, when we do our evaluation of a house, we look at it and go, okay, each room is going to cost us anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000 to decorate. Right. And that's how we build out our pro forma of the house, or when we evaluate it.
Sure.
So
now you did just say 8,000 to 10,000 per room, right?
Correct. Yes.
Including bathrooms and bedrooms?
Yes, because in some areas it's an average, right? Like the living room is going to cost you more than a bathroom.
Right. Couches, right? TVs, yeah.
All of it, right? Couches are not cheap. You can get a cheap one, but you're going to buy it a few times, right?
Sure.
So if you invest in the quality of your furniture, it lasts longer. It doesn't show the wear and tear as long, as much either, right? and then the artwork and things like that go into it. And then, bathrooms.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
The towels are not cheap. You want to buy more towels than you actually need, right? So
Right.
you have 3 sets of towels in a rotation per bathroom, right? So there's one that's currently being used, one that's for the next group of guests coming in, and then you have a backup as well, right? So just like the hotel industry, they have 3 sets per guest, right? So, that stuff adds up. And you don't realize it until you get into it. And then you start buying all the items, right? The shampoos, the conditioner, the female products, the towels and bath mats and all the things, shower curtains, and, there's a laundry list, right? You got to think of everything, right? And then, what we do is when we decorate, we'll come and stay as our own guest because inevitably you're going to forget something, right? You're going to forget the forks, a knife, or whatever, right?
Right.
So we like to stay and, be our own guest.
That's a really smart way of circumventing having people hitting you up at 10 o'clock at night saying, hey, by the way.
Right. Which, I will say, we don't really get those late phone calls, right? That big misperception of, hey, the toilet broke, kind of thing. You get those during the day, right? Because people, on average, realize it's a business and that you have, a life as well, right?
Operating hours.
Yeah, you have, there you go, operating hours. Now, if the AC goes out and it's 110 degrees outside and the house is 98 degrees, you're going to get a phone call, right?
Right, sure. But few and far between.
Very few and far between. So,
in your experience, what are some of the mistakes that you see people that are newer to the business making that are easily avoidable?
Well, I think the biggest one that I see is that whole shotgun approach of we want everybody to stay at our short-term rental, right? That's the number one. And then shortly thereafter is the quality of pictures that they post on Facebook or not Facebook, but on Airbnb and VRBO. It's fine to take a cell phone picture for about a month, but if you really want to do this long term, you have to get professional pictures. Right. It just makes a huge difference, right? And you can tell the level of operator from who does a short term, who does a phone picture as opposed to who gets professional pictures, right?
Right. It's funny you mentioned that because I'm actually looking at taking a trip to Colorado here at the end of the summer before the kids get back into school. And I was looking at short-term rentals on Airbnb with my wife the other night, and we were scrolling through, and I found this one house, and all of the pictures were so professionally done. I was like, are we looking at a place that they're trying to give us an overview of where we're staying, or are they trying to create house art with this? This is almost ridiculous. Like the way the sink was positioned.
Yeah.
And like a picture of the art on the toilet. And I'm like, man,
well,
it really definitely is making this house stand out to where I remembered enough to bring it up on a podcast 3 days later. But sometimes that's the game.
That is the game. That is 100% the game, right? You want to turn looks into books, right?
Oh,
so
that's a great. Say that again. I wish I had
It's turning looks into books, right? So you looked at that house. I bet you spent longer looking at those pictures than you did on any other pictures for any other houses in the area, right? And that's the goal, right? And that's why you have professional pictures, so they get that sink just lined up just right. The lighting comes in just right. The bedding looks perfect, right? Now the trick is having it look the same way when you show up as the pictures.
Right. Sure.
Right. So, that's why you have professional pictures. You turn looking into bookings. So,
I like that line. That's such a great line. Did you come up with that?
I did not.
Okay.
I will not take credit for it.
That is a thing. Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, I was going to give you some credit for that incredible line. So yeah, it's funny. To your point though, that house, it stood out to me the most. I'm a little bit of a weird consumer. It actually annoyed me, so I clicked off of it after looking through finally the kitchen and stuff. Because for me, I need simplicity. But I've also gotten to a point too. I think part of that is because it's not just about me. It's about like the accommodation factor. Like I got a ton of kids. You know what I mean? So
Right.
when I'm looking for a place, I need to know how many bedrooms are there actually? How many beds are there actually? Is there a pack and play for the toddler or the baby? Is there this and there that? So, but and in all fairness, like when I find houses that have some of those amenities that I'm looking for myself specifically, it means it gets hearted, right, and goes on the list of a potential option. And I think that's a clear miss to your point of people not really truly reflecting the energy of the property. And there's been times where I've been on a trip with folks where I think the most recent shenanigans was an Orlando stay where we were expecting to go into a spot that had 4 bedrooms and X amount of beds and whatever, and we get to this house and there were 7 of us that were staying there. None of us related to each other.
Yep.
And we get there and there were 3 bedrooms and 3 beds in the entire house. And when we booked it, it was supposed to be like 4 bedrooms and have 8 beds. And so we get there like, this is like completely not anything close to what the listing portrayed, to where several of the guys had to go get a hotel room together and stay there overnight.
Right. And that makes, the experience, that just starts off the whole experience badly, right? Your vacation does not start off on the right foot, right? And that's not our goal, right? Our goal is so that your vacation starts off on the right foot and we portray the correct house, right?
Right.
And, you have 7 people? All right, well, we have enough bedding for that. Now, if you do a guy's trip to our house, that would not work.
Sure. I think most guys looking would probably be turned off by how it's decorated and everything, though. So I think that would be far and few between of people booking it for that, right?
Yeah. Yes. It wouldn't really match. Now, I will say though, Fredericksburg is a great guys trip. There's a bourbon trail down there. If that's your thing, bourbon. It's got a great bourbon trail with some really popular bourbons, but it's mostly for wine and girls trips. But
Totally makes sense.
Yeah,
I get it. In your experience, what has been the greatest lesson you've learned from being in the business?
I've done a lot, and in a short amount of time with few properties, that I'm not afraid of any property. I've never done a burnt down house, right? A house that was on fire, but I've tackled some serious plumbing issues, right? Excavating completely underneath the house kind of situations all the way down to the main. Which would intimidate a lot of people, foundation issues, things of that nature. At this point, there's having the courage to go through it is probably my biggest lesson, right? To just believe in myself and go through it and do it. Just do it.
Was there a point where you didn't?
I think in the beginning, right? In the beginning, and probably even before we purchased our first property, right? Having the fear of all the things that'll go wrong, and the financial struggles that you go through with the surprises that happen, held me back for a while, right? Until I just ripped off the Band-Aid and then did it, and just was like, whatever comes my way, I'm gonna just figure it out, right? And being able to just figure it out, right? There's nothing scary, right? There's nothing scary about any of this.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, I like to look at it from the perspective of like in the grand order of the cosmos, which is what I like to say. And the way the universe works, right?
Right.
I always ask myself a question when I'm dealing with a challenge of, is this going to really matter in 5 years? And some things do, and those are important things to pay attention to. Like, I think a big one for a lot of people, 52% of people, according to stats that I'm going to probably get fact checked by the internet and shredded apart by, 52% of people getting divorced and that get married. I mean, it's a real easy thing to say that marriage is the problem because, you can't get divorced without getting married, but at the same time, there's some benefits to that too, right? And I think a divorce is something that does matter in 5 years, right? Doesn't mean that you're lesser of a person or anything, but it can very much so matter in 5 years, and sometimes even in 10. And that's the second question that I ask: is if it doesn't matter if it matters in 5, will it matter in 10, right? And I think when you look at it from that perspective, most things really don't matter.
I get where you're going.
In terms
of
problems. In terms of problems.
Oh no, I agree. Right. Look, at the end of the day, there's no problem in real estate that you can't overcome, right?
Right.
And it's not life threatening, right?
Right.
Right. I mean, when you rehab a house, you get it down to the studs, and if you got to go underneath or whatever, and foundation issues, or or if it's an easy, use the term loosely, an easy project, there's still always a challenge to it, but you get to go home, right? At the end of the day, you go home, right? And then you get to wake up in the morning and figure it out, right? So I look at it that way: is am I going to be able to go home from this and tackle it tomorrow? Yes. Will it matter? Will future Joe thank me for what I'm doing today? Yes. Let's just get it done, right? But I didn't start off that way, right? I was very timid and very scared of all the things that could go wrong, and it held me back from even just getting started.
Sure. Yeah, totally understand where you're coming from there. So if you had to go back to the beginning and start everything all over again from scratch, but you were able to take all of the knowledge that you've gained over the last 8 years, what would you do different and what would you do the same?
Oh, well, I probably would go faster. And I'd say yes a lot more. I would definitely have said yes and taken a lot more risk. And been a lot more aggressive on a few different decisions, and opportunities that came my way that I was too scared to take on.
Can you give us more context for that, or do you need to keep it vague?
No, it's fine. When we first started doing this, I had a chance to purchase a house in the same town I was living in. It was a historical home, but there was so much potential. But I was so scared of it because it had a pool that just was nasty, with cracks every which way to Sunday, and foundation issues, and there was just a laundry list, and all I could see was all the problems, and I couldn't see the potential of the house. And so because of that, I chose not to do it, which is a huge regret because, that was a huge opportunity missed. And I would be a lot further along than I am today if I would have taken that step, right? So it's that, that's the one that really, in the beginning, that is a huge regret.
Interesting. It's always fun to talk to people that have been doing it for a while, because almost all of us have that like one deal that just like, it just makes us itch.
It does.
Yeah. I have a friend of mine that's a wholesaler who ended up taking a property under contract. It was like his second deal, and he was new to the business, didn't know what he was doing. And this was actually a pretty decent sized property here in my market, which isn't a crazy expensive market in Wichita, Kansas. And he locked it up for 1.1, ended up assigning the contract for 1.2, and the investor went in that he sold it to. And after he did a couple little things to it, the property was then worth like 1.6. Oof. And my buddy is like, I could have assigned this for 1.3, 1.4. And the investor even told him, he's like, I still would have bought it even if you did it at that. And all he did was make a tweak, didn't even put any money into it. And so my buddy now, in the back of his head, thinks to himself, he's like, I literally lost at least $100,000. He made $100,000, right? Which, like, let's just like focus on that for a second. That's still amazing,
Very, very good, very good.
But he also lost $100,000 minimum in opportunity cost.
Yes, right.
So, but that's his deal that makes him itch still to this day.
Yeah, but you know what? I look at it this way too. I go, okay, sure, that's money lost, right?
Sure.
But the education. Right?
100%.
So, okay, money comes and goes, right? If money comes and goes freely, the education that you learned, or he learned, that I learned, we've all probably learned from those mistakes, if you will,
sure.
Was,
Priceless.
Probably, more than the money, right?
Right. I just spoke to your point there. I just spoke with a guy who went from 0 to 350 doors in the last 4 years. Like, got started 4 years ago. It's at 350 doors.
Oh, wow.
And we talked about that same exact thing that you just said right there. It's not about, most people think $1 in, $3 out. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but realistically, you can't calculate the total lifetime value of an ROI without factoring in the time, potential relationships, and everything else that goes into it that you're not considering from just a visceral reaction.
Right. And I agree. I don't really have anything to I agree 100%.
I love it, man. Well, tell these fine folks where they can connect with you more if they want to follow you or they want to connect with you, see what you're working on. Where should they go for all of that, Joe?
Sure. I do a lot of posting on LinkedIn. So you can find me, Joe Rivera, on LinkedIn. That's where I do all my posting on the short-term rentals and what we're doing there.
There you go, folks. We'll go follow him for more, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode and hope you got as much value out of it as I did. Thanks for being here, Joe. We'll see y'all in the next episode.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.